It's your girl Anna Talks Wrestling here. Welcome to my channel. Lace up your boots, hit the subscribe and like button, and let's get ready to dive deep into everything pro wrestling. Okay, so today we're going to be rating the last Friday night Smackdown that has happened. That's right, I'm talking about where CM Punk officially cashed in his favor to Paul Heyman. This rating for Friday night Smackdown is actually pretty important because we're 2 weeks away from the biggest event of the year, the biggest show in pro wrestling sports entertainment, the biggest PLE to ever happen. That's right, we are approaching WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. You guys, we are so close, and boy, does it feel like we're on the road to WrestleMania. Well, kinda, sorta. So this rating kind of reflects it. Obviously, I'm going 1 through 10 here, and I have to rate that a solid 7.1 out of 10, and here's exactly why. So as we approach WrestleMania 41, we obviously should be feeling like we are on this massive journey to the grandest stage of them all. However, I'm kind of feeling a little underwhelmed. I'm not gonna lie, which is why my rating is where it's at. The actual episode of Friday Night Smackdown was actually pretty solid. That's why that gets a high rating. But the road of WrestleMania that we're on, it doesn't really feel like it should be even a 7. Maybe like a 6.9. Like, it's just not there. It's not it. And I'm not understanding why. Like, we have massive superstars going into WrestleMania 41. We have the voice of the voiceless, CM Punk. We have Seth freaking Rollins, Roman Reigns, the original tribal chief. I mean, guys, we even have the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, facing heel John Cena. Why is this not feeling as grand as it should? I honestly don't know the exact answer to this. I don't know if it's because this first main event ever for CM Punk that's happening. Maybe it's because the Royal Rumble winners aren't main eventing for the first time since 2018. Maybe it's that the titles have people like Gunther and Jey Uso yeet in it. Nothing against them, but for me personally, I would love for the triple threat of CM Punk, Seth freaking Rollins, and Roman Reigns to have the World Heavyweight Championship. Maybe it's just me. And also, that favor that CM Punk cashed in for Paul Heyman, the wise man, to stand by CM Punk, to be in his corner during the main event of WrestleMania 41 instead of Roman Reigns. I mean, you guys, we all predicted that to happen. We all knew that was such an obvious favor to the point where they shouldn't do it. Right? Or is it just me? Like, that was so obvious and so unfortunate. It should have been something bigger, something grander. I mean, I don't know. It's not really feeling right to me that that was what the favor was. The big favor we were waiting for. Like, okay, I kind of assumed that was going to be something CM Punk asked, and that's why I figured the favor would not be that. Yes, obviously, earlier in the night, Paul Heyman called CM Punk his best friend while Roman Reigns, his tribal chief, was not present. And then, obviously, we heard CM Punk call Paul Heyman his best friend later on in the night as well. I am a bit surprised that Paul Heyman gave in so easily to CM Punk and said yes. I kind of wanted to see a little bit more drama there if that was going to be the obvious favor. So I'm a little underwhelmed by that for sure. But, however, I am super thrilled about this triple threat. But can we just talk about how hilarious it is? Guys, I love Seth freaking Rollins. Like, he is one of my top favorite superstars of all time in pro wrestling. But just to see him on the side laughing and kind of just being that side character, like this little kid while their parents are fighting or something, it's just hilarious. Like, I love that aspect to it. Of course, I would love for Seth Rollins to be looked at seriously, and he is to a certain extent, of course, because of his history with CM Punk. That tension still exists between them two. So I actually love almost everything about this triple threat other than that obvious favor in not having the World Heavyweight Championship in between them. Because, guys, we all know that Gunther and Jey Uso, who's going to win at WrestleMania 41? Obviously, it's going to be Jey Uso for the big yeet celebration that they want. Guys, come on, like anybody could have predicted that. So I'm not a huge fan of that, especially seeing them already from Saturday night's main event. But let's continue on with what happened on SmackDown. Up next, we also had the ultimate debut from Rey Fenix, where he went on to face Nathan Frazier. Guys, I know it was Rey Fenix's debut, but can we just talk about how amazing Nathan is in the ring? Like, that was phenomenal from an NXT guy. I was actually more impressed by him than Rey Fenix. Nothing against Rey Fenix. Huge fan. Love that he's here. Loved his debut. But just something about Nathan in that match was so incredibly impressive, and I'm so excited to see the future for him because I really think he has a potential to be one of the biggest superstars in WWE once he hits the main roster. But I am kind of shocked that Rey Fenix debuted on SmackDown. Now, I know that Rey Mysterio and Penta are on Raw, so to put another luchador on Raw probably might have been a little overwhelming for some people. They wanted to probably split it up. But how epic would it have been if Rey Fenix debuted on Monday Night Raw, and then Penta, Rey Mysterio, and Rey Fenix gets teased or even actually happens for a triple threat. Heck, make it for WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. That would have been so cool, you guys. Like, this would have been the time to do it. Rub it in the face of AEW that, hey, look, we just took Rey Fenix and Penta, and look what we just put together. We put them in a triple threat with Rey Mysterio. That would have been freaking epic. If I was booking it, if I had the pen and paper, Triple H, that's what I would have done. But, you know, unfortunately, that's not what we got. Rey Fenix is just going on to face some guys, you know, that's not really relevant to WrestleMania. So we still have 2 weeks, though. Maybe he will get a match on the card. I understand he just debuted. Maybe some people think he doesn't deserve it. However, I think it would be a terrible mistake not to put him on WrestleMania, especially given the fact that he came from the competing company of AEW. Let's be real here. So we'll see what happens with Rey Fenix. Either way, I'm super thrilled that he's here. I would have just liked to see his booking a little bit different going into WrestleMania 41, the biggest event of the year for us diehards, pro wrestling fans. Heck, I mean, not even diehards anymore. The ticket prices are so through the roof. They're so crazy that diehards can't even go. We're going to have like celebrities there instead because, wow, those ticket prices are insanity. They're not for the regular diehards anymore, unfortunately. I'm so glad that I went to WrestleMania before all these ticket prices and before TKO took over. Because nothing against TKO, but the prices, guys. I mean, that's just crazy. How are you even supposed to bring a family? Like, imagine if you had kids. What would you do? One thing I loved about WWE was the ticket prices, and it was so family friendly to the point where you can bring your kids and their kids can bring their friends. You know, like there was something special about that, and unfortunately it's getting taken away from us, and maybe it's just the time we're in, but I'm so happy that I got to go to WrestleMania before that. I did go to the one in Dallas, Texas, with the famous return of Cody Rhodes. That was epic. But anyways, let's go back to SmackDown and talk about what else happened. Talk about Tiffany Stratton and the queen herself, Charlotte Flair. You guys, I'm actually kind of feeling this feud. It is kind of funny to see them go back and forth at each other because I'm not gonna lie, it felt like that was just like a shoot fest or something. Like, I felt like that promo battle was not something that they prepared prior. It was definitely a shoot. The way that they were being so real with one another, I mean, obviously Tiffany Stratton was taking a shot at Charlotte Flair for her personal life, and obviously Charlotte Flair was taking a shot at Tiffany Stratton about her current boyfriend Kaiser, which you would only know if you knew the wrestlers outside of wrestling into their personal lives outside of kayfabe. So Charlotte Flair saying that was kind of like out of pocket, I feel like, and definitely not prepared for. And then the way that Tiffany rolled out of the ring so fast after saying she's 0-3, it's kind of wild. And then comparing her to her father, the nature boy Ric Flair, just adds to it. I feel like this feud's definitely got a lot of heat, and I knew that these two could bring it on. I mean, for the women, this is great. It's definitely comical at some points, you know, but it's a great feud to watch because I do think Tiffany Stratton has so much potential, and then to see her face somebody like the Queen Charlotte Flair, who obviously is just a legend, not only in the women's division, but in the history of pro wrestling, to see them both go at each other like this, it's honestly amazing, and I'm all here for it, and I can't wait to see them face at WrestleMania 41. However, I don't think Charlotte Flair, the queen, should beat Tiffany Stratton. I think this is the time that they bring Tiffany Stratton over, and let her shine. Let her beat Charlotte Flair, the legend, and go on to retain her WWE Championship, continue her reign as WWE Champion. I think she 100% deserves it. She's killing it. So I definitely love that promo battle, watching the crowd boo Charlotte the way they did. For me, when I saw Charlotte Flair return at the Royal Rumble, I felt like they wanted the fans to be so excited and happy that Charlotte Flair is returning. She's back. She's coming back from a serious injury. She's been through so much. However, she just ended up being booed. And yes, Charlotte is definitely feeding into it. She's honing into that character. And I love that for her. However, I don't think that was what was initially planned. Maybe it's just me, but that's the vibe I was getting from the Royal Rumble. So Tiffany being the babyface here and Charlotte being the heel was definitely interesting for me, and I love it. I think that's exactly how it should be, but not how it was planned. So I'm super thrilled to see what happens next here. Speaking of the women's division, I have to say this. CM Punk mentioning April, aka AJ Lee. Come on, you guys, quit teasing us. Like, is AJ Lee ever gonna return? I don't know, but can you not say her name and get me excited for no freaking reason? And can we also just mention how Becky Lynch does not have a match at WrestleMania 41? Like, hello, the man does not have a match at WrestleMania 41. Like, oh my goodness, would I love to see Becky Lynch back in the ring, back in WWE, doing her thing. She is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, woman in pro wrestling history. She is absolutely phenomenal. One little note on Becky Lynch is she's obviously a giant baby face, but if they could bring her back as a heel, that would be epic. Because if you guys remember that short period of time when she was kind of playing a heel, she was wearing her fur coats, she had this heel persona to her and it was working. Like, she was doing so great. And if they bring her back, if they have her and Seth Rollins team up as heels, that would be freaking epic. Heck, let's make Miz and Maryse come back too together. That would be an ultimate dream for me. Speaking of the Miz, can we talk about the backstage segment with him and Carmelo? That was funny. I'm definitely loving that they're feuding with Pretty Deadly. I think that's a pretty good matchup, especially for Carmelo Hayes. He needs something to bring him up. What better way than putting him next to the Miz? Although awesome him was not really. I don't get that little thing Miz was doing there. It's not working. He can't say awesome with everything. Him and awesome just don't go together. That does not mesh well together. So don't do it, please. But it's the Miz, and he's gonna keep doing it, and he's gonna think it's good, and that's what makes Miz so great. Is the Miz gonna get a match at WrestleMania 41? And that's the real question here. Is he gonna team up with Carmelo Hayes? Probably, most likely, if anything, because that's the storyline that's going, and we only have 2 weeks left here. Let's also mention the Tag Team Championship. Obviously, you guys saw Motor City Machine Gun defeated DIY, the #1 contender for the WWE Tag Team Championship against the Street Profits. Can we just talk about how the Street Profits have changed their entrance completely? They're obviously heels now, but I honestly think that WWE didn't do them any favors. I really think they've lost a lot of momentum and a lot of star power, at least the amount of star power that they had prior. With that entrance that they had, it really brought them out and it really made them stand out. And to take that away from them, it diminished their value and their stardom that they did have going for them. So unfortunately, I'm not a huge fan of them being heels and tag team champs in this new gimmick that they have. So I do see that potentially Motor City Machine Gun will go on to defeat them. We shall see, of course. It was cool to see them sitting in the crowd and watching the match. That was pretty awesome. But again, when they came out, their entrance song hit. I did not even feel like there was anything too special about them. Unfortunately, when their entrance song hit and they came out with the tag team titles. And speaking of titles, let's talk about how Jacob Fatu has defeated Braun Strowman in the last man standing match that they had, and he is officially facing LA Knight for the United States title. Pretty awesome. Unfortunately, I don't think WWE should have Braun Strowman kind of defeated here. Not saying that Jacob Fatu should have lost. I don't think that either. Jacob Fatu and LA Knight will probably put on a better match, and they're a better matchup. I still think that Braun Strowman should be winning something somewhere. He's just such a beast that he shouldn't be doing that. I mean, he's a monster, right? So like he should be winning something somewhere. So we'll see what WWE does in the future to book him. See if he makes the card of WrestleMania 41, but I'm not gonna have any high hopes for it. Speaking of not being hopeful, let's talk about the fact that Kevin Owens is no longer participating in WrestleMania 41 against Randy Orton. That was very upsetting. We all know that neck injuries are so serious. And obviously, we've seen wrestlers go through a lot. You know, people like Edge, Big E. These neck injuries are no joke. Neck surgeries, no joke, you guys. Like, this can change someone's career completely, unfortunately. I'm hoping for the best for Kevin Owens. Hopefully, he has a smooth and quick recovery. Who knows? Maybe he'll come up next year, 8 to 9 months, recover, and then next thing you know, he's winning Royal Rumble. You never know, but I'm so sad to not see Kevin Owens a part of WrestleMania 41, especially facing Randy Orton. Better still have Randy Orton in a match at WrestleMania 41. It would be a massive, tragic mistake if they did not. So obviously we saw that Randy did RKO Nick Aldis. Is there a chance that Nick Aldis puts on the boots and gets in the ring again, you guys? How freaking epic would that be? I would love to see that. Nick Aldis versus Randy Orton. Bring it on. Kevin Owens, unfortunately, is not going to be the one to face Randy Orton. So give us the next best thing that you can. Make it a little bit special. I definitely think the fans deserve it. And we know that Kevin Owens has been such a big part of WrestleMania 41. We've seen Kevin Owens put on some massive performances for WrestleMania. Obviously, he's faced Stone Cold, which I was there in person for. And guys, let me tell you, that was freaking crazy. It still feels so surreal. And obviously, he's also been tag team partners with Sami Zayn, also faced Sami Zayn. Like, he's done it all, you guys. And facing Randy Orton was the next best thing for him. Unfortunately, we're not going to get it. So we're still hoping that they make it up to us fans and give us something grand for Randy Orton. I want to mention the second biggest thing that happened on Friday Night Smackdown, other than CM Punk cashing in his favor to Paul Heyman, the wise man. The fact that Naomi came out and Jade Cargill attacked her. I don't know about you guys, but Jade attacking her and then all the security guards wearing black, she's giving me more heel energy than Naomi is. I know Naomi is meant to be the heel, but if anything, I kind of feel more bad for Naomi than I do Jade, even though Jade's the victim of the attack, because Naomi is essentially playing a victim too, saying she did it for her and Bianca. And hello, where has Bianca Belair been in terms of the storyline with Jade and Naomi? That is something that needs to be addressed, hopefully in the future, maybe after WrestleMania 41, when Jade Cargill and Naomi face. Depending on who wins, I'm going to guess that Jade Cargill is probably going to be put over here, because obviously WWE wants to make a superstar out of her. I would like to see Naomi win, but can we just talk about the fact that this is the first women's match at WrestleMania in 19 years that's happening that does not have a title involved. Can you believe that? This is the first time two women are going against each other at WrestleMania 41 in an actual match, not one that happened 19 years ago, if you know what I'm talking about, without a title present. That is freaking amazing. Absolutely phenomenal on WWE, Triple H, for making history right here. It is absolutely amazing, and I'm all here for it. So that is the second biggest thing that happened on Friday Night SmackDown, which is why my rating is so high. It's an actual great episode of Friday Night SmackDown, regardless of the fact that WrestleMania 41 is coming up. It was pretty freaking great. I enjoyed every second of it, and I hope to see episodes like this for Raw and SmackDown moving forward always, even when we're not in WrestleMania season. So that being said, let me know your thoughts on everything that happened on Friday Night SmackDown. Let me know if you guys agree with what I'm saying or disagree, and if you agree with my rating, and if my rating is too high or too low. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this video here, please like and subscribe for more wrestling content with your girl Anna here.